Come on, YouTube, you gotta. Okay. Stream has. Yup, I think the stream has it. Let me check. Sorry, guys. Oh, wait, yep, the stream has started. Let me try this real quick. Come on, YouTube, you gotta. Okay. Stream has. Yup, I think the stream has it. Let me check. Yep, and sorry guys. Oh wait, yep, the stream. Okay. What is up, guys? I'm the Boss Prime here today with a new video for you guys, a new stream, I should say. And sorry about the poppings in the background. It's 4th of July, everybody. Happy 4th of July. I don't really celebrate it, but we are all here today to see me react to Mr. Nightmare, one of the most spooky channels on YouTube, and I really want to do a reaction video because his videos are so creepy. It gets under my skin, and I purposely waited until like 9, until the sun has set, to specifically start to stream and not get freaked out. Jesus Christ, I'm scared already. My lights are turned off. The only source of light in my room is my computer screen and my phone. So let me check this real quick, guys. Bear with me. Hold on. My channel. Let's go right here. Let me go to the stream so I can tell if someone is in chat. Can I see? Oh, someone liked it. Whatever. Okay, so let's watch the first video from Mr. Nightmare, one of my favorite horror YouTubers of all time. He does the best videos, hands down. I can promise you that. Let's check this out. Oh, 30 minutes, hold on. Okay, let's check this out. Oh God, I'm already scared. Okay, oh my God, now my room is completely dark. I can't even see behind me. The only thing that's keeping me fucking comfortable right now is the fireworks outside, making so much fucking noise. Okay, let's go.
There are countless videos of alleged ghost footage on the internet. Most of them could be dismissed as poorly done edits. But on that rare occasion, you may come across a video that seems so believable, they may leave you thinking twice. Here are 10 of the most convincing paranormal videos you can find on YouTube.
This is so scary.
Number 10. Tom Underwood was visiting the Gettysburg battlefield in 2001 with his family.
Hold on. Oh, fuck. I'm already scared. Let me... 720 is the highest it goes, guys. Sorry about that.
When he recorded this video at the triangular field, it appears to show semi-transparent figures walking or flying through the woods.
Nigga, where?
This is considered by many to be the best ghost video ever recorded. So what do you think?
What is that?
Oh, no. Please don't be a jump scare.
No. You moved it. Right?
Please don't be a fucking jump scare.
Right there. See it?
Right.
Look.
There's nobody there.
I can't see.
Niggas, get the fuck out of there.
Look.
Yo.
Is it those people?
Can't be.
There's nobody.
Not up in the trees.
Smart man. Who camps in the fucking trees?
Number 9. This video has become so popular, and rightfully so, simply due to the fact that nobody can seem to explain it. A Russian man's dog leads him to a truly disturbing sight. A little girl floating in the air with a woman, possibly her mother, standing below, watching her as if admiring the girl's trick.
Shit, what?
When the cameraman gives away his position, the camera loses sight of the girl for a few moments, and the next time she's in the shot, she's on the ground with the woman, and they run off. Now, while this very well may be a hoax, nobody can explain how it could have been performed. The dog's behavior, mixed with the typical horrible quality camera, and the very real-looking image of the girl floating, this video is definitely more convincing than others.
Tarzan, come here.
This has to be fake. Oh, the dog gave away their position. Nigga's a traitor.
Number 8. This is another popular video. It features a man who decided to turn on his camera and get some footage of what has been making the crying noises he's been hearing in a separate room.
Not one of these.
He sneaks a peek with the camera into the room, and we see a shadowy figure sitting and facing the corner of the room crying. He then decides to take another look.
No. Nigga, leave the fucking... No. Fucking idiot. That's how they kill your ass. Oh god, I'm not... No, jump. I know that I turned off... No. I turned down my mic. I'm not looking at this bullshit. No. What the fuck?
Number 7. In this video, we have 4 kids wandering around looking for a ghost in an abandoned school in Iraq.
Oh my god,
the boys are kind of wandering aimlessly through stairwells and empty classrooms for a solid 2 minutes.
I don't know.
About halfway through, while conducting another sweep of a hollowed out classroom, they seem to find what they're looking for, as a headless, shadowy figure can be seen walking over to the kids. However, they don't seem to notice and continue with their search.
Where?
Over to the kids. Find what they're looking
God, I thought
for,
that one
as
nigga
a headless,
in the blue
shadowy figure can be seen
like, I thought it was... Is this?
Walking over to the kids.
Oh wait, no, that's...
However, they don't seem to notice and continue with their search for another 2 minutes afterwards.
Where? What shadowy figure? Where? Oh! Wait. No. Where? What the fuck are they?
والله بفكرون شيء والله بشاهد فلبو.
Oh shit! That's fucking... Is that some fucking Egyptian music in the... What? That was
Number 6.
fake.
13-month-old Princess Caroline, who died 400 years ago, allegedly...
Okay, let's see if anyone's in the chat. Nope. Okay, let's keep this going,
to haunt
guys.
Leeds Castle in England. Her father was King Henry VIII, and the circumstances surrounding her death are controversial to this date.
King Noel just
Her apparition was apparently finally caught on tape during a ghost hunt expedition.
This is fucking fake. I hate it when he cuts his voice and it's mad creepy. The fuck are we looking for? Nigga, there's nothing there.
Number 5. This is an old dashcam video from a police chase that ends with a surprise. We see the driver of the white car swerving about trying to escape the police.
Okay.
The police officer takes one final turn to reach a fence blocking the way. However, the driver of the white car seems to have somehow gotten through as we watch his taillights fade away down the road.
In just a moment, he's going to make a turn into the Twilight Zone. Watch.
And nigga was like, nope, not a dead end.
The fence at the end means no way out. Or does it?
Back to the Future.
Number 4. A couple guys are, for whatever reason, roaming in the woods of Catalonia, Spain at night with a camera on. The video cuts to a scene where the camera is zooming into what appears to be some kind of creature in a crouched position in the distance. People refer to this creature as the Fallen Angel.
Fallen angels don't fucking haunt you. Please don't be some creepy ass shit. Oh! Wait! Oh, this nigga just pop his head out. Wait. Wait, I'm confused. This has to be bullshit. Nope, nigga got. Oh, they Hispanic.
Number 3. This is the recorded surveillance footage from Disneyland. If you look closely, you can see a ghostly figure walking around on different cameras. The video suggests that the ghost can walk on grass and on sidewalks without tourists present. The ghost even appears to walk on water.
There's nobody there.
Some people say this is the ghost of Walt Disney himself.
Who the fuck are they talking about? Wait. What are they talking about? The fuck are they talking about? It's a bunch of lights. Niggas is straight. Oh, they're talking about this? This right here? I'm not buying this one. It could easily have been edited. I'm not buying it. Disney just wanted
Number two.
Some more people to
This
visit
is the footage
them.
recorded from a Mexican Blockbuster, which catches an employee stacking DVDs. Nothing out of the ordinary, until his cart seems to move on its own.
Dip, nigga.
After that, DVDs constantly keep falling over off the shelves on their own, almost as if something is toying with the employee. He eventually takes off, as most people would in a similar situation.
No, I would have taken off when my cart moved, nigga, not... What? Nigga, dip! The fuck? Okay, this ghost is just being a downright dick. This dude's probably freaking the fuck out. Boy, third time and I would have been out. Nah, this nigga can't be serious. Oh my. This nigga was not having it. He left.
Number 1. This video was submitted by the hotel security manager who was standing watch on September 14th, 2003 at the Wingate Hotel in Illinois. His voice can be heard in the background of the recording. According to him, people staying at the hotel began calling in noise complaints to the front desk with reports of loud screaming coming from the second floor, particularly room 209. There is no known history to the room according to their investigations. However, upon further review, they found that over the years, multiple complaints of strange noises were reported to be coming from that room. This is the only known recording of it.
What's going on, John?
No, bro.
There's no one checked into that room. There should be nobody in there.
They making this nigga go
Wait
alone?
1 second, John. Amy, are you there? Yeah,
Or
John-
get a fucking
John says he
priest.
hears the screaming coming from
Do
that
the
room.
exorcist on this bitch. Not go in there by yourself.
But we're sure that no one's checked into that room. Correct?
Yeah, nigga, leave. Don't.
We're gonna get a hold of the police. So, just I would wait for the police, John.
What the fuck you want the police to do?
Amy, John's gonna enter the room real quick, just to check, make sure, see what's going on. Wait one.
John, come on, John. Have you ever seen a horror movie in your life, John? Well, everybody say bye to John, because he ain't coming back.
John, are you there?
No, John is not there. John,
Amy,
oh.
John wants you to call the police right now, if you don't mind. He says no one's in there, but that all of the furniture's been turned upside down and
John,
hold on.
this sounds like the nigga from fucking The Haunted
The
House.
shower is on, but nobody's in there.
John, close the fucking... John, come on, John.
I'm officially freaked out now.
I hope you enjoyed this
Now?
list. Some of these can definitely...
Oh my god, this is fucking me up. I'm in a dark room by myself. Oh, next video. I got this one prepared. 10 Terrifying True Stories Volume 4. Oh my god, okay. I'm ready for this one. I don't think this one's gonna be that. Okay. This. Even the music has me fucked up. Okay, I got this. Oh, okay. Okay, the background. Okay, come on. Oh, come on, dude.
A few years ago, something very weird happened with my best friend and
I can't keep this full screen.
I was 15 years old. One night I decided to sleep over at my friend's house. After a night of scary movies, we were in the mood to do something exciting. Not far from my friend's house was a demolishing site. A block of houses in a very terrible state that would be demolished the day after tomorrow. The local government would demolish them to make room for new houses.
I can't watch this whole
The whole site was fenced in and warning signs saying "Do not enter" hung everywhere. The houses were boarded up by planks. Doors and windows were sealed shut. No one could get in. We decided to go for a walk on the old block and take some random photographs. My friend knew a spot where we could enter the old block. When we walked there, we noticed that every house was boarded up tight, so we couldn't get in.
Leave!
We noticed a house with a window on the top floor that wasn't very well boarded up.
Oh my...
We could see into the room. We took a photo with a digital camera. Later we went home and took a look at the pictures we made. Suddenly, we came across the photo of the window. We saw a woman dressed in a brown raincoat with white skin and black hair as long as we could visibly see.
Oh my God.
The woman looked very sad. We hadn't seen any woman when we took the picture. Moreover, the windows and doors were boarded. We went back to the house to see if that was correct.
No.
After investigation, it really was.
Don't investigate.
Everything was tied shut, and there was no woman.
Where would you go in? Oh God! Oh, shit could have gone south real quick.
This story isn't mine, but rather of my friend from Japan.
I can't even.
I'll call him Rita. It happened back when Rita was only about 11 or 12 years old. Rita was a rather attractive kid and had his fair share of admirers. One girl was extreme with her crush, though. I'll call her Ayano. Ayano was a lot older than Rita. She was 17. She was an acquaintance of Rita and lived down the road from him. Rita hadn't thought much of her until she started stalking him. Every day and every night, she would be following him one way or another, whether it be in person or online. Rita first started getting the creeps when she would start messaging him over 20 times a day. Stuff like, "Be safe," "Are you alright?" "Sleep well," etc. This was a little weird, but he got that rapist demon in him. Then the messages started getting creepier. Instead of the usual checkup emails, they got more personal. Things like, "You should eat your lunch," if he skipped lunch, or "I think your sister is hungry," when his little sister was crying. Rita stopped using both his phone and social media at this point, but it doesn't end there. Rita's mother was almost never home, so he was frequently looked after by babysitters. One day, he had a new babysitter. It was Ayano. Nothing was particularly strange as she looked after him and his siblings, but she did get a lot closer to his mother than he would like. One day at school, Ayano approached Rita and told him that his mother would be out of the country for a week, and that she told her to let Rita stay at her house. Rita was hesitant at first, but hey, it was his mother's wish. He couldn't go against that. Ayano told him that his mother had already left, so he could go home with her after school that day. Rita reluctantly agreed and went home with her. When he got there, her parents weren't home. Things get a little blurry here as my friend choked up telling the story, as it still scares him today. He said Ayano would play weird games with him, stuff like Family, where she insisted she was the wife and he was the husband, as well as things like Cops and Robbers and games to see who would get scared first, where she would blindfold him and leave him in a silent room for hours on end. It was 5 days into staying at her house, and
did this nigga get kidnapped? There's no way. No.
Ayano had gone to a part-time job.
No mother would ever leave their child for 5 days.
And the windows were too high to jump from, so he just stayed in front of the TV, where he saw a chilling news report. It was a missing child report. The missing child being him. Before he had the time to catch the number to call, the TV switched off, and Ayano was standing behind him with the remote in her hand. Rita had freaked out, crying and screaming. Ayano held him, but he managed to wiggle from her grasp just in time to open a window and cry for help. Luckily for him, a couple were walking past, heard his cries and called the police. Within an hour, police arrived and found him locked in her bedroom with a blindfold and his hands tied. Due to Ayano still being a minor, Rita is unsure of what happened to her. He says he only remembers the police taking her away while his mother was hugging him. He moved to Australia after this and hasn't seen his kidnapper since, but he still cowers at the sound of her name. About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in a major city in the US. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who was decidedly not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go for long walks and spend the time thinking. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night, and never once had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommates that even the drug dealers in the city were polite. But all of that changed in just a few minutes of one evening. It was a Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police patrol park quite a ways from my apartment.
Whose mother's so careless?
It was a quiet night, even for a weeknight, with very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I went down a short side street in order to loop back down my apartment when I first noticed him. At the far end of the street, on my side, was the silhouette of a man dancing. It was a strange dance, similar to a waltz, but he finished each box with an odd forward stride. I guess you could say he was dance-walking, headed straight for me. Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped as close as I could to the road to give him the majority of the sidewalk to pass me. The closer he got, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving.
No, don't.
He was very tall and lanky and wearing an old suit. He danced closer still until I could make out his face. His eyes were open wide and wild, head tilted back slightly, looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile, I decided to cross the street before he danced any closer. I took my eyes off of him to cross the empty street. As I reached the other side, I glanced back, and then stopped dead in my tracks.
Please don't tell me this nigga followed me.
He had stopped dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me.
Run!
He was facing me, but
Child,
still
run!
Smile still wide on his lips. I was completely and utterly unnerved by this. I started walking again, but kept my eyes on the man.
Swear to God, if this was me, I would've Usain Bolt this nigga 10 minutes ago.
Once I had put about half a block between us, I turned away from him for a moment to watch the sidewalk in front of me.
Please don't tell me this nigga chasing you.
The street and sidewalk ahead of me were completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone. For the briefest of moments, I felt relieved. Until I noticed him. He had crossed the street and was now slightly crouched down. I couldn't tell for sure due to the distance and the shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I had looked away from him for no more than 10 seconds, so it was clear that he had moved fast. I was so shocked and I stood there for some time, staring at him. And then he started moving toward me again.
Oh my God.
He took giant, exaggerated, tiptoed steps, as if he were a cartoon character sneaking up on someone. Except he was moving very, very quickly. I'd like to say at this point that I ran away or pulled out my pepper spray or cell phone or anything at all.
Bitch, you
but
froze?
I just stood there, completely frozen, as the smiling man crept toward me. And then he stopped again, about a car length away from me.
Oh, okay.
Still smiling his smile, still looking to the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. What I meant to ask was, "What the fuck do you want?" in an angry, commanding tone. What came out was a whimper. What the fuck? Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, They can certainly hear it.
Oh, he
I
smells your
heard it
fear,
in my own
bitch.
voice. That only made me more afraid. But he didn't react to it at all. He just stood there, smiling. And then, after what felt like forever, he turned around, very slowly, and started...
This nigga, you was a bitch, so this nigga left. That's how much a bitch you were.
Walking away. Just like that. Not wanting to turn my back to him again, I just watched him go, until he was far enough away to almost be out of sight. And then I realized something. He wasn't moving away anymore, nor was he dancing. I watched in horror as the distant shape of him got bigger and bigger. He was coming back my way. He was coming back my way, and this time he was running. I ran too. I ran until I was off the side road and back onto a better lit road with sparse traffic. Looking behind me then, he was nowhere to be found. The rest of my way home, I kept glancing over my shoulder, always expecting to see his stupid smile, but he was never there. I lived in that city for 6 months after that, and I never went out for another walk. There was something about—
Nigga was out for a walk? Act to it. That's the dead shift, boy.
his face that
Nigga
always
was—
haunted me. He didn't look drunk. He didn't look high. He looked completely and utterly insane. And that's a very, very scary thing to see.
Is that number 1 or number 7?
In the mid-80s, my mom was a cleaner in Australia. She would clean houses in suburban areas and would sometimes do houses in rural or wine regions. She would leave business cards at the local shops and got most of her business this way, and some through referrals and word of mouth. One day she got a call from a lady who sounded like she was around 60, asking Mom to clean her old farmhouse. She made a lot of odd demands, and Mom would usually meet clients before taking on new business. In this case, the lady did not want to meet my mom and said she would leave the keys under the front doormat.
That's a bad
Mom
sign.
agreed, mainly because the lady was quite obviously wealthy and was offering to pay Mom substantially more than she would reasonably expect. Mom went to the house on a Monday morning and said she already felt unnerved by the long driveway. The house was essentially in the middle of a very large and very empty property.
Oh no.
She found the keys and started cleaning. About an hour into the clean, she hears the back door shut. Mom was told no one would be at the house, so she immediately felt unsafe. She stood frozen in the kitchen for what she said felt like 3 or 4 minutes, although she said it could have been much longer. There was no other car on the property. She wanted to leave immediately, but had 2 rooms left to do. Both were bedrooms. She said as time passed and she heard nothing else, she decided that perhaps it was nothing, or perhaps something had fallen and it wasn't the door after all. She walked up the hallway and stepped into the bedroom. All over the bed were black and white photos. As Mom got closer, she realized that the photos were all of her. Some were taken at our family home, and others were taken at other houses Mom would clean. Some through windows or over fences. She used the house phone to call the police and immediately drove to the end of the driveway. The lady ended up being investigated, but continued to claim that it was a break-in. After some time, the police stopped with their searching and we ended up moving to a new town 4 months later. I'm 22, and this incident happened 1.5 years ago. I had just moved into my first apartment and was in the process of moving in. The door that led to my apartment locks itself automatically when closed. So, I was going to the entrance of the apartment complex to get my mail while talking on the phone with my friend. I returned to the apartment and sat on the bed while opening the mail while using the phone. I dropped the phone on the floor and it landed under the bed, so I had to lie on the floor and stretch for it. I saw something that caught my eye. There was someone under my bed. My eyes widened and I choked the urge to scream. The person under my bed was lying still with his back towards me and his head to his chest, so I couldn't see his face, and he didn't see me. Trying to be rational while so many thoughts rushed through my head, I picked up the phone said, "Sorry, I dropped my phone. I'm just gonna take a shower and call you back."
Don't go into the bathroom.
The bathroom is right by my bed, so I hastily walked in, quietly locked the door, turned the shower on, jumped out my window, and called the police.
Oh, okay.
They told me to wait nearby, but to go across the street and see if anybody comes out the door of the apartment complex. This was during the summer and it was still light out. I placed myself across the street, hiding behind a car while watching my open bathroom window and the entry door. I called my friend and he came over just before the police. I gave them my keys and they went inside. Only moments later, two cops came out holding a thin and tired-looking man. His eyes looked crazy, but he didn't try to get away. The policeman that stood beside me and comforted me while the police searched through my house told me that the man stood outside my bathroom door with one of my kitchen knives, waiting for me to come out. This man had somehow crept in my entry door while I was getting my mail and hid under the bed. The man that was trying to hurt me turned out to be a homeless person and was placed in a mental hospital. When I was 21, me and my girlfriend were upstate in my family's vacation mobile home. It was during a snowstorm and we were sitting on the couch next to the heater, snuggling and watching late night TV. We were surrounded by absolutely nothing but forest in all directions, and all that was keeping us from the outside was a wooden door that had a broken lock. The last time my grandparents came up, my grandpa put a few cinder blocks by the door to use as a kind of barrier in the meantime, since the door opened inwards. Anyway, while we were watching TV, my girlfriend started shaking me, telling me she heard something outside. I assured her it was most likely a deer or a bear or something, but then 5 minutes later, my girlfriend looked at me again. I heard it too. I muted the TV so we could hear it better. It sounded like someone was messing around in the little lawnmower shed outside. My car was parked outside and all the lights were on inside. If there was anybody out there, they knew we were inside. My girlfriend was urging me to go outside and check it out, but I told her she must be crazy to think that I was going out there.
Someone reasonable, finally! Damn, nigga, don't let that bitch let you get killed.
The sound stopped and there was nothing but the sound of the storm outside now.
Yeah, nigga, at least someone
After a
who
few
knows
minutes,
some shit.
I felt it safe to shut the inside lights and open the blinds to take a quick look outside.
Yeah, nigga.
But it was too dark to see anything.
Oh, okay.
I turned on the porch light and I was able to see a good portion of the front yard outside. There were footprints in the snow.
Oh, that's bad.
Not animal footprints. They were clearly shoe prints.
Ooh.
And they were headed in the direction of the backyard.
Oh.
I went to open the curtains to the backyard window, and when I did, I felt the urge to scream, but my girlfriend did instead. Even though there were no lights in the backyard, we could see a man dressed in all black and wearing a vendetta mask facing the window.
Oh, shit.
I immediately shut the blinds and told my girlfriend to go hide in the bedroom, while I grabbed my grandpa's hunting rifle out of the closet. I pushed the cinder blocks and a bunch of other heavy objects in front of the door as a barricade, shut all the blinds and lights, and went to hide with my girlfriend in the corner of the bedroom. There was a bang at the front door.
Fire a warning shot.
He was trying to bust open the door. I don't even think he tried the knob, but it didn't matter either way.
Why would the nigga try to knock?
After a few futile bangs to the door, it seems the man finally gave up. I stayed up that whole night with the gun by my side while my girlfriend slept. We packed and left first thing in the morning, but the scary thing, there was a fresh set of footprints leading from the front yard window out into the woods. I haven't been up there since, but my grandparents have, and they said that there was no sign of a break-in or anything missing. I don't plan on ever going back up there.
Neither would I. Oh damn, the fireworks are crazy.
Back when my grandma was still alive, I would always walk down the block to her house every day to help with various chores. There was this one day that I walked over to her house the same time I always did, and decided to let myself in. I was surprised she left the door unlocked. She was a very paranoid old lady and normally kept everything locked. I saw her bedroom door was opened upstairs, and I heard her opening and closing drawers and cabinets.
Oh no, sweetie, boy, that's not your grandma. I don't gotta be the one to tell you that shit.
Upstairs calling grandma, and as I was about 5 feet from the door, She slammed her bedroom door shut.
That's not... Nigga.
I knocked, asking if everything was alright.
Never seen... Oh, God, of course. I know he's white.
And at that moment, my cell phone began to ring. It was my grandma's phone number.
Oh, no.
I was so confused, but I picked up the phone anyway. My grandma was on the other end, telling me not to come over that day, as she was walking over to her seniors club. I felt my heart skip a beat as she told me this. I hung up the phone before she could say anything else, remaining silent. I knew exactly what was going on. I played dumb and said, "Grandma, I'll be downstairs," and made my way to my grandma's kitchen to grab a knife and dial 911. It remained silent in the bedroom after what happened. The police arrived and burst into the bedroom, and the loud and sudden bang of a gunshot caught me off guard. When the paramedics arrived and wheeled out the intruder, I recognized the man's face. It was my grandma's next door neighbor.
Oh, nigga, Fred trying to get some grandma pussy.
He saw that my grandmother had left the house and broke in to look for jewelry. And when the police broke into the bedroom, they found the man hiding next to the door with a large knife in hand. If I had walked into that bedroom, I would have been as good as dead. The most haunting memory of my life. Me and my wife were getting home from dinner out, and as soon as we stepped out of the car, we noticed that our front door to our house was open. I told my wife to wait outside while I ran inside and ran straight up to our bedroom, where I hid the shotgun. I loaded the gun and scanned every single room upstairs. There was no sign of anybody. I made my way down to scanning the main floor, followed by the basement. There was no sign of anybody, and there was nothing missing or moved. I called the cops, and when they arrived, I told them what happened, and they began to investigate some rooms upstairs, followed by the basement. Nothing was turned up. They made a case of asking us if we were positive that we shut the door when we left. I myself was starting to have doubts, not completely sure if I had, but my wife remained confident that we had shut the door. The police seemed sure that if somebody had broken in, they didn't stick around long, as there didn't seem to be any signs of burglary. My wife was worried sick, crying that she wasn't comfortable being in the house. I comforted her the best I could, assuring her that whoever broke in the house left in a hurry. I finally fell asleep after hours of rolling around in the bed, but my sleep was immediately cut short by the disturbing scream of my wife.
Oh damn, that hurts, that hurts, that
I looked at her, and she was staring intently in the direction of the closet. It hit me like a bullet just then. I had forgotten to check the second closet. I looked over and saw for the briefest second a man poking his head out of the closet before closing the closet door. Within 5 seconds, I had the shotgun loaded in hand and cocked it back to let the intruder know that I was armed. I screamed for him to come out, and just like that, the closet door opened, but instead of showing submission, he made a mad dash for the front door of the house. I could have shot him, but I didn't have it in me. He was never caught. He got away with it scot-free. I think having that gun saved us from a terrible fate.
Nigga, you was a man. You could have fisted this nigga, boy.
About a year ago, while still living under my parents' roof, I started experiencing some weird occurrences in my house, specifically my bedroom. While I was laying awake in my bed one late night, I heard a creaking sound coming from across the bedroom.
Is that a
My
fart?
closet door had some...
Oh, this must have been what this nigga was talking about.
coming from across the bedroom. Check it. I subconsciously checked for anybody inside my closet, even though I was 26 years old. Of course there was nobody inside, so I shut the door and went back to bed. Later that same night, I would hear rumbly, rattling noises coming from up above the ceiling. It sounded like something in the air ducts. It was a very strange sound. I really had no idea what to think about it, but as soon as it stopped, I kind of forgot about it quickly and fell asleep. In the morning, I did tell my dad about sounds in the attic the previous night, but annoyingly, he didn't seem too interested, or he just didn't take me very seriously.
Bad dad.
That night, I again lay in my bed awake, reflecting on life, when yet again, the slow creak of the closet door creeping open broke the silence. This time, I felt genuinely afraid. I knew the door was completely shut. It would take somebody twisting the doorknob for it to be able to push open. This time I took an extra careful look inside the closet for anybody, even though it wasn't a big closet and there really wasn't anywhere somebody could hide. I rationalized it as being a broken doorknob or something, and that same night, I again heard the rattling sounds coming from above the ceiling. It was exactly what happened the previous night. The next morning I convinced my dad to take a look at my closet door, but he quickly determined that the door was fine. When it was closed, he pulled on it, and it showed no signs of coming off the latch. Of course, he suggested that I was simply leaving the door unlatched, but I knew I wasn't. That night, I sat up, waiting for it to happen again, and right on cue, the closet door creaked open. I waited for the sounds above the ceiling, but there was just a long silence. I turned on my lamp and looked up to the air vents in my room, and I screamed at the top of my lungs. I could distinctly see two wide-open eyes peering through the vents at me. My parents barged into my room asking if I had gone insane. I explained everything, and they looked at each other like I had completely lost it. Not surprisingly, they dismissed it as a dream or the fact that I was too tired and was seeing things. They even began to lecture me about staying up too late. But to this day, I know I hadn't imagined it. It was too real. And the closet opening routinely? I know for a fact that wasn't in my imagination. I have never been a believer in the paranormal, but I still have absolutely no other explanation for those 3 nights.
Oh, number 1, let's get it.
I live in the Poconos with my wife and kids. There's a small lake about a quarter-mile away from our backyard. I commonly take my kids down there to go swimming. Up until last week, that is. Now, I'm never letting them go down there again. I haven't told anyone about this in fear of sounding crazy. It was last Saturday. We went over to the lake and set up our chairs on the sand. It's like a little private beach in our own backyard. It's been amazing. Me and my wife sat in our beach chairs enjoying the sun while our kids were splashing around in the water. I always tell them not to go too deep. They're still young, 6 and 8. We sat there for a good 2 hours that day. Neither of us were in the mood to get wet. Eventually, my wife got tired and decided to walk back home. I agreed to stay with the kids a little while longer, as they were somehow still having so much fun playing in the sand and water. The sun was setting at this point, and I was getting tired. They were going a little too deep, so I called at them to come back closer to the shore. They couldn't hear me apparently, so I stood up and got closer. Before I could call them again, I noticed something in the water. It looked like a black, roundish object, and it was moving closer to my kids. I ran into the water closer to my kids, calling them to come out. When they got close enough, I dragged them out myself. When I turned back to the water, the object was gone. My kids were confused as hell. I didn't know what to tell them, so I just told them it was time to go home. We packed up and walked back to the house, but I wasn't happy when I got home. I was uncomfortable with what I just saw. That thing looked like no sea creature known to man. Dinner was waiting for us when we got home. I ate really slow, thinking about the object in the water and whether or not to tell my wife. My wife asked me what's wrong. She noticed that I was eating slow. I decided not to tell her right then.
Sorry about the motorcycle.
After dinner, I took a flashlight with me and walked back down to the lake. By then, it was already dark out. I got to the lake, but to be honest, I didn't even know what I was expecting to find. I shined the flashlight all around the surface of the water, searching for the black object, and just then, I heard a large splash come from somewhere in the lake. The kind of splash of something emerging out of the water. I thought it might be some kind of animal in the lake. I shined the light all over the place, searching for the source of the sound. And then I found it, and I realized I was dead wrong. There was a silhouette of a humanoid figure with long black hair covering its whole face. It just stood there, facing me, but not staring at me.
Jason.
Not that I could tell. I dropped the flashlight in horror and sprinted all the way back up to my house, slamming the door shut behind me. I haven't told anybody about this. What kills me is that that lake is only a quarter mile away from my house, and for all I know, that thing could be watching me through my window right now as I write this.
Y'all niggas gonna move or what? Thanks for watching, Mr. Nightmare. To end the night, guys, I will be watching one more Nightmare video with you guys. Oh fuck, what is it? Oh, okay, no. The latest Mr. Nightmare video that I didn't watch, I was saving it for today. And we're gonna watch it. Hold on, guys. Sorry about this. All I wanna do is Critter Studios. Don't look at that last account. You saw nothing. All the names on YouTube were stolen. I had to do something. Hold on, guys. Events. And live control room. I want to see how long the stream has been going on for. Come on. 46 minutes. We have just enough time. Anime 2K. We have just enough time for one last video. Let's get it going, guys. 3 disturbing true Snapchat stories. He misspelled stories, but it's fine. So tires. This I can watch on full screen. Some guy 95, Crystal Connors, Adito J. Okay.
It was 2015. My little sister and I, along with a few of her friends, were going camping in a forest in Maine. I couldn't tell you the name of it. She wanted me to go because I'm older and more experienced with camping. But was it weird camping with a bunch of 14-year-old girls? Yes.
Should be.
I won't share my sister's name, but her friends were Casey, Barbara, and Lexi.
Nigga doesn't want to what fucking rat out his sister, but he rats everybody else out. Nice.
My sister insisted I slept in a separate tent than her and her friends, and I was okay with that. So we brought 2 tents. Along with that, I packed the usual camping supplies. Food, water, tools, and in my case, a rifle. I always take a gun with me while camping, just because I'm a paranoid guy, and I always want to feel protected while in the middle of the woods at night. After a pretty long day, I helped the girls set up their tents.
I just can't get that through my head. Why do you torture yourselves like that? Have you not seen enough episodes of Supernatural?
And then I worked on mine alone as they were all sitting in theirs, gossiping or talking about whatever 14-year-old girls talk about. When I finished, I put the fire out. Being the older brother, I of course felt responsible for my sister and her friends. So I moved the tent really close to theirs, turned on my reading light, and continued where I left off in the book I was reading. The chattering of the girls in the next tent over was a bit distracting. At one point I heard them talking about a certain boy. Then the conversation switched to Snapchat. I heard Casey mention that she didn't have Lexi on Snapchat and asked for her username. I really didn't mean to eavesdrop, but they were speaking pretty loud. Lexi gave Casey her snap, and about 5 to 10 minutes later, Lexi mentioned in a confused voice that some random person added her on Snapchat. I raised my head from my book a bit as my interest in what was being said suddenly increased. The other girls told Lexi to add the person to see who it was. A few seconds later, they were going on about how the person's Snapchat score was so low, only like 7. I was really paying attention now. Apparently the person sent a message saying, "Hi, send me a pic." And then the 4 of them left. At this moment they were kind of whispering and giggling, so I couldn't really hear what was said. But after they all erupted in laughter, I could only guess they sent some kind of funny picture. After more silence, I got chills when I heard all of them scream. I grabbed my gun and ran outside to their tent. My sister screamed that there's someone outside of the tent.
Damn, this nigga way.
I shot the gun into the air 3 times as a warning, yelling into the woods at the same time. I then crawled into their tent where my sister hugged me. I of course asked what happened, pretending like I didn't already know half of it from listening to their conversation, and they explained everything.
This dude's amazing.
Lexi added the random person back, who then sent her the message mentioned earlier. As I suspected, she sent back an ugly group shot with her friends. The person then sent back a picture in response. It was a selfie picture of what they described as an old creepy dude, smiling at the camera, standing right in front of their tent. It gave me chills right down to the bone listening to their story. I was freaked out myself. They all wanted me to sleep in the tent with them that night, so I did. The next morning we cut the trip short and went straight for the car. What could have been a great weekend memory with my sister turned into the biggest nightmare of both of our lives.
Not cool, dude. It's fucking creepy as fuck.
I just recently got into the whole Snapchat thing. My friends urged me to get it since everyone else my age has one. I got into the groove of it pretty quickly, and within a week my score was already 1,000. One day while shopping, I took a picture of a pair of shoes that I knew one of my friends really liked and sent it to her on Snapchat. She opened it after a few minutes, but didn't reply back. I sent her a chat asking,
"Did you dirty boy? Why'd you keep talking to her?
What do you think?" She opened this one much quicker, but didn't reply.
Bro, she's playing you!
I put on a sad face and took a selfie, captioned the picture, "What's up, why aren't you answering?" and sent it. She opened it immediately, this time replying in the chat, "Where are you?" I responded saying, "Home." Her Bitmoji was appearing in the chat, indicating she had the chat box opened. She replied saying, "Where is home?" I said, "What do you mean?" Then she said, "What is your address?" It was at that moment I knew something was up. I closed the chat box and drove over to my friend's house. I pulled up to my house, and becoming a bit paranoid now, just looked around to make sure I wasn't followed or anything.
Nigga, you're not that
Both of my
important.
parents were out of town, and my brother was out of state, so I was home alone for the night. That night when I was laying in bed checking my Insta and Snap before going to sleep, I remembered I could just check where my friend's Bitmoji was on the map to track the thief. So I opened up the Snap map. Her Bitmoji was right on top of mine, on top of my house. I dove to turn off my lamp and shut the blind. The fear made me paranoid. I started to question whether I locked the front door or even the back door. But that didn't matter, because when I heard sounds coming from downstairs, below my room, I knew someone was in the house. I tiptoed to my bedroom door to lock it, then called the police. The operator asked me to stay on the line with them until the police arrived. When they arrived, it turned out nobody was in the house. It was just my paranoia playing tricks on me. We found my friend's phone in the backyard, hidden under a bush, screen still on with the battery in the 60% range, meaning he couldn't have been gone for too long.
Oh no.
The next day, I returned the phone to my friend, and my parents came home, so I didn't feel scared anymore. I will, however, keep my location private on Snapchat from now on, and I recommend you do the same.
This one might have been the creepiest one I've seen so far.
This happened a week ago.
Except for the flying girl one in the forest with the guy and the dog and the grandmother or whatever. That one was mind-boggling.
Until a few days ago, I went to a small, local gym in my now previous New Jersey town called Black Bear Fitness. One day, I had the misfortune of running into some skinny, awkward, yet creepy-looking kid, probably 18 years old. He didn't look like he belonged in a gym at all. I had headphones in and I was doing my set when I heard him saying something to me, but it was muffled by the music. I was already annoyed with this kid, given that he was breaking an unwritten rule of the gym. Don't try to talk to somebody when they're doing their sets. I took my time finishing my set, and then took my headphones out to ask if he needed something. Then he started acting like I looked familiar, but right away I knew this kid was just trying some pathetic attempt at making friends. I assured him I didn't, but the kid wouldn't stop talking to me. I'll skip most of the conversation, but eventually he actually asked me for my Instagram and Snapchat, weirdly enough, and for whatever reason I gave them to him. Instead of just saying something like, "Buddy, I'm trying to work out," or "I don't have social media." After I gave him my Snapchat and Instagram, however, I did kind of urge him to let me resume my workout. He finally seemed to get the message and walked away. Not without saying bye like 3 times though.
The fuck? Type of faggot?
That night I got a snap on my phone saying "from Sean." I immediately sighed and said, "Oh no." Just wondering why the hell the kid would snap me. I opened the snap, and the kid was in a creepy, weird pose, face way too close to the camera, with his head resting in his hand and a half smile on his face. The text over the picture was "Hey" with 2 Y's. I muttered the words, "What the fuck?"
That's what I want to say. What?
For the record, I'm a guy, which made this even more weird. My thought process was, I've had enough of this loser already. I'm gonna remove him and make it clear I don't want to talk if I see him at the gym again.
Nah,
and so I did. I removed him minutes after he sent that snap.
Oh,
I'm sure not even a minute later, again a message popped up on my phone saying "Snapchat from Sean." I waited a few minutes before opening it.
No.
This one was even creepier. Now the kid was sitting up on his bed, no smile, more of a surprised, angry expression. The text over the image said, "Why did you remove me?"
No.
Now I went as far as to block him, meaning
you should have done that the first time.
And that was that. I threw my phone on the desk and sighed out of relief.
Give him your Instagram, bro.
Half an hour later, my phone goes off, saying Sean added you as a friend, and then Snapchat from Sean.
Wait, what?
He actually made a new account. I opened the snap and felt my heart drop. It was a picture of my front lawn. The text over it,
"Answer me, bitch!"
"Answer me, bitch." The first thing I could think of was, how did he find my address? Then I realized, Snapchat made that new map feature that lets you see where your friends are. Somehow I had the balls to open the window to see outside. It was clear out there. I shut the window and the blinds and started considering calling 911.
No, bro, that's fucking...
It was the sound of taps on the window. I took a deep breath, and with one swift motion, I pulled up the blind and the window at the same time and pulled the kid into my room by his neck.
Oh!
I punched him in the face a few times before he was out cold.
Oh, God, this is...
Pulled up the window. It was the sound of taps on the window.
This is how to properly handle this shit.
I took a deep breath, and with one swift motion, I pulled up the blind and the window at the same time and pulled the kid into my room by his neck. I punched him in the face a few times before he was out cold. Now I called 911. By the time they arrived, he was awake, cursing me out, promising he'd be back and kill me.
The fuck?
The cops heard it all. I didn't even have to make a case. The kid was an idiot. Luckily, the timing of this worked out well, because I just moved a couple days ago out of state. Only thing that worries me, I don't want to have to make a new Snapchat account, but anytime somebody new adds me on the app, I'll never know if it's secretly that Sean kid again.
Aw, damn it, this music gives me that weird vibe. Okay, there's one more thing, guys. I really want to react with you guys. Where is it? Okay, 52 minutes. We have enough time. There's one more thing I want to react to. Okay, let me show you guys. What is it? BuzzFeed Blue. Who? Oh yeah, Unsolved Mysteries. Oh wait, no.
I think you might.
Not that one. Hold on, guys. BuzzFeed Blue. What's his name? Unsolved. Damn,
I think you might intellectualize too much.
That's creepy. I don't want to listen to this shit. Yes, I want to react to this one. It was pretty interesting.
This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we discussed the famous case of D.B. Cooper, a case that the FBI has referred to as one of the great unsolved mysteries in FBI history. It's also considered one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in U.S. history. It's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, I've heard of this one a little bit, just a little bit.
Oh, you haven't heard it like I'm about to tell it.
Oh boy.
Okay,
this is hilarious. I like watching.
Baby, let's get into it. On Wednesday, November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving, a man going by the name Dan Cooper bought a $20 one-way ticket on Northwest Orient Airlines with cash for flight number 305 from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. Cooper was described as being in his mid-40s and wearing a business suit, a black rain-type overcoat, brown shoes, a white shirt, and black tie.
You know who he sounds like? He sounds like that guy from comic books. What's his name? Fuck. Let me show you. I know. He sounds like he looks like this person. Hold on. Hold on. All I gotta do is put Arrow. Some mystic nigga. What? Who is he? Ah, fuck. It's a bunch of fanboys. Damn it. Arrow. Fuck. Mystic powers. Let me search this up real quick, guys. Not fucking Damien. Wait, no, not Damien. What's his name? Damn it, I forgot his name. Oh yeah, it was Damien Dark. What am I talking about? It'll eventually come to me. Wait. Let me see something Oh my god. Supernatural. Oh my god, I forgot. Supernatural crossover. Arrow. What's his name? I saw it. I put Trailer. Damn it, that Mystic Man. What's his name? Fuck, I know he's... Damn it, what's his name? Okay, let me just show you this to you guys.
Carried a dark briefcase and a 4-inch by 12-inch by 14-inch paper bag.
Who the fuck cares about the paper bag?
Before the plane took off, Cooper, seated in seat 18C, ordered a bourbon and soda.
He seems like a cool dude.
I don't think he even ordered the bourbon and soda to calm his nerves. I think
he's probably just like
he's a badass.
Soda. Now, I'm D.B. Cooper. I'm a mystery man. Give me the bourbon.
That's freaking hilarious.
After the plane had taken off, a little after 3 p.m., Cooper handed the stewardess a note. At first, she just put it in her pocket without looking at it. But then Cooper said, quote, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb," end quote. What's so funny about that? He has a bomb.
I think it's funny that he passed her a note to be discreet about it. Like, hey, keep this on the down low. And then she was just like, thanks, and walked away. And he was like, hey, you might want to read that because I've got a bomb. Oh, God damn it. I got a bomb, everybody.
Cooper told her the bomb was in his briefcase and asked her to sit next to him. He opened his briefcase to show red-colored sticks surrounded by an array of wires. After that, Cooper asked the stewardess to write down what he was saying and take it to the captain. Quote, "I want $200,000 by 5 p.m. in cash. Put in a knapsack. I want 2 back parachutes and 2 front parachutes. When we land, I want a fuel truck ready to refuel. No funny stuff, or I'll do the job."
No funny stuff!
I also like how he says, "do the job."
I'll do the job.
Like that's his threat, which actually to me,
badass.
He's not a dime store criminal. Let's just say that. I'm on board with the Coop train.
Me too. I'm a fan of this guy.
You a big Coop head?
I'm a Coop head.
One odd detail was that Cooper asked for the $200,000 to be exclusively in $20 bills. The flight landed in Seattle, and Cooper exchanged the 36 passengers on the plane for the money and the parachutes he had requested. Cooper kept some crew members on the plane and had the plane take off for Mexico City, requesting that the plane remain below 10,000 feet. During the second half of the flight, Cooper put on a pair of dark wraparound sunglasses with dark rims that would later become part of the sketch that would become famous for anybody familiar with the case.
Yeah, I'm just imagining like a camera just pushing in on him as he's like...
If we were in today's age, this guy would definitely have headphones and playing Spotify playlists of epic soundtracks.
He'd have one of those shitty hoverboards.
Not an actual hoverboard, but
yeah, he'd be like, or I'll do the job. And he'd take out his wheels, put them down, start moving up and down the aisle. Knapsack, or I'll do the job.
A little after 8 p.m., when the plane was somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Nevada, Cooper jumped out of the rear doors of the Boeing 727 with 2 of the parachutes and the money, never to be seen again. One thing worth noting is that Cooper took off his black JCPenney clip-on tie before jumping, a piece of evidence that the FBI was able to procure a DNA sample from.
You think James Bond ever wore a clip-on bow tie?
Yeah, I guess. Wow, that does kind of...
That's kind of a... takes the wind out
well,
of my sails.
Maybe if he like knew he had to do it quick, and that was
Still,
like an efficiency thing.
If he was like, I'm gonna put my sunglasses on, it'll look cool. If he was like... Clink!
With the DNA sample from the tie, let's jump into the investigation launched to identify the man who called himself Dan Cooper. The case was called Norjack, standing...
Well, if you guys want me to react to the rest of this, guys, leave a like and subscribe. And I think I'll be out with a Minecraft video tomorrow for you guys. So, yeah, where we finish building the house in Minecraft, actually. So look out for that around between 1 and 5 p.m. But it'll definitely be up tomorrow. So be ready for that. And happy 4th of July, everybody. This is why I made the stream. Thank you for coming here and watching. Or if you're here after the fact and you're still watching it, thank you for watching. And I will see you guys in another video. Peace out.